Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly.
Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you cruise a little bit smarter. I'm your host, Lake. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Christy. Christy, how are we today?
Oh, we are tired, Lake. How are you? I'm assuming you're the same.
We are doing okay. I had lots of meetings at work today, and then we came back to have lots of meetings with each other.
Yes.
So it's been a very meetingful day.
No, for real. My day was too. And I'm not over Disneyland yet. Like, I can't believe we just came back from there a week ago. I still don't understand how that happened and how we're here now. Like,
yes,
that was crazy. It was so good.
Those that don't know, Christy and I were both just at Disneyland together for the Disneyland Half Marathon weekend with lots and lots of other friends and family and
listeners.
Listeners, yeah. It was truly a magical weekend, and we had just the best time.
It really was. And didn't the logo thingy on our shirts say like the most magical race or something on earth? And it was. Okay, we'll talk about this in the Run Disney Rundown. So if you haven't found it, look on your podcast feed or in YouTube, because we'll have done a Run Disney Rundown. But besides the course, it was a magical weekend. I like that description.
Yes, it was so cool to be somewhere so far away, but have so many great friends there with you.
Right. Yeah. And I went solo. So I did not have my family with me. And yet it was like I had family with me because I had people to do stuff with the entire time. It was so great.
Talking about cruising, yeah. I am very excited because we have not done an episode on this topic, Christy.
Ever. In the 2 years it's been in existence. Shame on us.
I know. So we were so excited to have our guest reach out to us. And our guest today is Veronica. Veronica, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi.
We are so happy to have you here. What kind of sailing are we talking about today?
This was the 7-night on the Fantasy, the Pixar Day at Sea sailing.
Yep, the Pixar Day at Sea. So this was like the second week of the Pixar Day at Sea, right? For this season?
I think it was the second week.
And this is the second season.
I was going to say, they told me it runs for like 7 weeks, I think.
And it's always on the Fantasy. And it's basically through the winter months before spring break really kicks off. Basically, it's like akin to when they did the Star Wars Day at Sea and even Marvel Day at Sea. There's one day plus like a bonus event that is Pixar themed, if you will. Did they do music from, I know we're going to talk about this, but now I want to know.
All day it was Pixar music, and I thought that was so cool. Like that, I think that even though that was such a small detail, that was probably my favorite part. Like everywhere you were in the ship, it was Pixar music.
I love that. I was talking to somebody, like my husband, I think, who said one of the things he likes most about Disney cruises is walking into the hallway and having the Disney music playing. So
True.
It really is special and something unique. Oh my God. Now I want to go on Pixar Day at Sea just to hear that music for the day.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. And they also, just like a little thing throughout the day, they would do these little audio clips over the speakers of different Pixar characters talking. And it would be like a fun little like joke, like Dory would make a joke, or like Edna Mode would make a joke about wearing towels as capes or something like that. Like it was really cute.
I'm going to step us back a little bit. First off, what made us pick this sailing and a Pixar Day at Sea?
So I did not pick it because it was a Pixar Day at Sea. I already had like a DVC trip booked, and those are really hard to change. And we decided we wanted to add a cruise to the end of it. And the dates for this cruise worked out perfectly. So I didn't pick it specifically because it was fantasy or Pixar or anything. It just lined up with my dates at Disney World.
And this was not your first Disney Cruise Line sailing, right?
It was only my second. So we did The Wish in June, and we really loved it. It was our first cruise ever, obviously our first Disney cruise. And so we decided to keep doing them.
And we mentioned that we had a DVC stay booked. We're not going to dive too much into that, but where did we stay? And then how did we get to the port?
We had the Riviera booked from, I think, Monday through Friday. And then I saw a Boulder Ridge 2-bedroom pop up the Sunday night before. So we just decided to go down a day early because we hadn't been to the new Boulder Ridge refurbed rooms. So we did Sunday night at Boulder Ridge and then Monday through Friday at Riviera. And then we just took an Uber from Riviera to Port Canaveral. And it was really easy to get an Uber that day.
Okay. You didn't have any problems. No one canceled, or there wasn't a bunch of cancels, or?
No, and it was weird. Like the fares were super cheap. We actually ended up doing an Uber Black because it wasn't that much more than, the regular Ubers. I don't know if it was just like a less busy day for them, but
Who did you travel with?
my husband, Eric.
So did you each sleep in a different room at Boulder Ridge in your 2-bedroom? I probably would have.
I did sometimes use that bathroom. I was like, oh, it would be actually really nice to always have a bathroom separate from you.
Right?
It would be ideal.
Take us to the port here. How was your embarkation process? Anything notable there or pretty normal from your last time?
I mean, it was different from our last time because we did the Disney bus last time. So it was this was our first time, just kind of arriving on our own and getting in the line. But it was super easy to figure out when we got there because they all had the signs for the different port arrival times. And we just got in the line and we were a little early, but it seemed like they were moving a little bit ahead of schedule. So we got on pretty quick.
What time did you arrive at the port approximately?
I would say we got there around like 11:50, and I think our port arrival time was 12:15. Then we got in line pretty much right away, and they were moving a little earlier.
And then the last logistical question, because mostly it's very relevant to Lake and I, who would drive to the port.
Mm-hmm.
How was the line of cars getting in to the port?
It was really, really light. And our Uber driver was surprised. He was like, I expected this to be so much worse. We were only in the car line for like 5 to 10 minutes. But I do think this was a less full cruise. And I think a lot of people had trouble getting to the port earlier because there were a lot of snowstorms.
Right.
The day of and so I know a lot of people, like, they just barely made it on the ship and they were driving like long distances to get there because they couldn't get flights.
Yeah, we know a little bit about what that's like. What kind of cabin did we book for this sailing?
It was the veranda. I don't know if there are different types of the veranda rooms, but we just have, a balcony on deck 8, I think. And it was in the aft portion.
Did you intentionally pick that in the aft, or do you have like a preference?
No, I think Christy, you helped us pick that room. I don't know that I gave you any preferences. I think that on our Wish cruise, we had been aft and we liked it. So we just did that again.
I think probably near the aft elevators, but not all the way aft. But
yeah, that was nice. It was
conveniently located. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were like just right next to those elevators. And it wasn't like, I was a little bit worried that it would be loud, but it wasn't.
So this was a 7-night Western itinerary, but we are going to maybe give away a quick point that you did not get off at the ports. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it was our first time on the Fantasy, so we really just wanted to be on the boat. We did get off at Castaway. That was the only one we did get off at. Yeah, we just really wanted to kind of hang out on the ship because it was our first time.
Perfect. So we will stick with the ship. Before we get to the ship, because this is a Pixar Day at Sea, what could you have reserved before the cruise, and what did you reserve before the cruise?
You could reserve the breakfast, the Hey Howdy breakfast with Woody and friends. I think that's what it was called. You could reserve that ahead of time. There was a meet and greet with Rex that you could reserve ahead of time. I want to say that there was also like a meet and greet with the Incredibles that you could do. And I don't think they specified like which Incredibles it was going to be. And we didn't end up reserving any of that ahead of time. I missed the day by one. So I think I was like one day late. And everything was pretty much sold out. And I had heard people on the Facebook group saying it sold out like overnight. So if you really want to do that stuff, you should probably do that at midnight.
And then we did talk before the show. You did not go to guest services and add yourself to any list once you got there. Okay.
No.
This is your first time embarking on the Fantasy. What were some of the things that you were looking forward to kind of getting to experience? And did you have any kind of shocking differences moving from the Wish to the Fantasy? A little bit older of a ship, definitely a different layout.
Yeah, I feel like it's not normal. I feel like most people like they've been on all the other ships before the Wish, and I know the Wish is really different than other ships, so I was a little bit nervous because we really did love the Wish, and we are like, oh, does that mean we're not going to like the older ships? But I loved the Fantasy so much. I was really excited about the adults only area there because I think that the worst thing on the Wish for us was that the adults only area was super small. It's always so overcrowded. It didn't have much shade. So we loved that area on the Fantasy. I didn't think it was harder to navigate, but I didn't find the Wish very hard to navigate. I know a lot of people have trouble with it, but it made sense to me when we were on the Wish, and the Fantasy made sense too. I liked the rotational dining better on the Fantasy. And it could be just because we had more nights to try it, but I liked the theming of the restaurants. I'm not crazy about the marble one on the Wish, so I like that the Royal Court and Enchanted Garden are a little bit prettier, and I thought the menus had more options. So I think I liked Fantasy maybe a little bit better.
Team Fantasy. I mean, I get torn. Do I like the Fantasy because it's mostly 7-night cruises? Do I like the Fantasy because I love the ship? And maybe it's both. I think it's both. The Wish is gorgeous. I stand by that she's the most beautiful ship.
Yeah.
But if I have to pick my favorite child, it's the Fantasy.
I'm Team Magic over here.
Yeah, you and Steve. See, you took over the hosting. You carried on the tradition.
All of a sudden, you just love the old classics.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the Wish is like truly such a beautiful ship. Like it's exactly the aesthetic I love. Like I love Riviera, and it kind of reminds me of that, how it's really airy and everything. But just like from a amenities perspective, I think that the Fantasy just really is a lot better.
Let's stick with that for a second. What do you think? Okay, so the adults only area, the dining. Mm-hmm. What else, maybe if you're playing comparisons, would you say you enjoyed more about the Fantasy?
I liked the way the main pool deck was set up better too. I don't really like the multiple small pools concept of the Wish because it felt like they were always just packed full of bodies. It felt like, I could actually get in the other pools too, because sometimes we were out on that main deck because we like to watch the funnel vision. I like that bigger pool. And I like the slide better on Fantasy. I think it's a little more fun. The Wish one just squirts you in the face so much. I'm like, this is not really my favorite. I also like the Cove Cafe there better because it's like a lot bigger and they have the food there. On the Wish though, I do like that festival of food so much.
Yes.
It's so good. The barbecue.
So good. They have figured out all of those Donald's Cantina too. Yeah. Like they have figured all of that out.
Yeah. So that is really good on the Wish. I love that. Not that I don't like the Wish. I love the Wish so much. It's just like, I think there are like so many little things about the Fantasy that were so much more fun for me.
Since we are on this topic of food, why don't we dive in and talk about your rotational dining for a little bit? We have 7 nights. So why don't you go ahead and tell us kind of what your favorite restaurant was, and then if you had a favorite menu as well.
And did you eat the good chicken schnitzel?
I don't like chicken, so I didn't have the schnitzel. I think my husband did get the schnitzel and he liked it.
The proper schnitzel, like you're Germany eating it versus whatever they give you on the Wish, which is a lovely sentiment, Disney Wish, but it is not proper schnitzel.
Yeah, I think we started at Enchanted Garden, then we did Royal Court, then Animators. I was surprised by how much I loved Royal Court because I think just the pictures online, it looks a little bit bland, but then once you're in there, they have so much cool art. All of the mosaics and the little details, like the little carriage lamps. I really loved it. So I think like from that perspective, I really loved Royal Court. And then the menus, I liked Animator's Palette the best.
Interesting. Yeah. Did you eat the pasta at Animators? The little pasta purses? Isn't that like the only thing that's
what I liked? Yeah. Yes. I loved them.
That is what everybody likes. I can't have those, but I do recognize that that's the superior dish. Somebody was talking in a Facebook group about the menus and just how was it that they were ready for a change on the original 4 ships. And I'm so torn because yes, I'd like to flick some dishes right off that menu, but also some of us I think would revolt if we didn't get like my fried brie. I just love my fried brie.
The fried brie is really good.
And like if they got rid of that and like, Steve has his escargot, like what's your like thing that you would just be so sad if they removed? Pasta persets?
Oh, that is a really good question. I don't have an answer that pops into my mind, but it's been like 2 years since I've been on anything but the Wish.
All right. Well, we'll get your answer in the summer when we are on the fantasy together.
We've got plenty of rotational dining to experience.
Yes. And you could be like, this is the dish that they can't they can't get rid of. Okay. So you really liked Royal Court and you like fried brie. All right. So we're like 50-50 for compatibility. What else for dining? You went to Palo, right? You mentioned before the show.
We went to Palo, and I think it was our first at Sea Day. So like I think that was the first like full day. Maybe I think that was the night that we went to Palo dinner. It was so good. We went to Palo on the Wish as well. So I don't know. I liked how like it felt kind of old school and cozy in there. Yeah.
So are you team prefix dinner or a la carte dinner?
No, I don't like a prefix. I don't, I want to pick and choose and mix and match things. I don't want to be stuck to the prefix.
I like it. What was your favorite item from Palo that you ate?
I mean, I love that chocolate souffle. That is so good.
It's so good.
My husband got the asabuco. Is that how you say it? Mm-hmm. And I had some of that, and I had like real plate envy. Like I always want what he has once it gets down on the table.
Well, you'll have to order that on your next cruise. Before we leave food, where did you typically eat your breakfast on the ship? Was it a mix? Did you ever go to sit-down dining?
Yeah, we like the sit-down breakfast a lot. So I think most days we did sit-down breakfast. There were 1 or 2 days we did cabanas. I did cabanas on the last day just because it's a little bit easier and quicker. And I think they actually have more food available.
And pro tip, it doesn't say anywhere that cabanas is open, but for the listeners, it is open from like 6:30 in the morning until 8:30. But man, do they drop that curtain at 8:30? You can like, it might even be 8:29 sometimes. So if you are interested, and even if you have to leave your room by 8 anyway. So if you're going there, just make sure you get to the buffet line before 8:30, and it's open on the Wish as well, Marceline Market, but you just have to get your food by 8:30 because they're shutting it down and getting everything ready to change over for the next cruise. So, all right. So I like that. And then what about lunch? Did you also do sit down for lunch some days? I like that there's options on Disney.
Yeah, I do like that there's options, and we always meant to do a sit down lunch, and then we were just like, oh, we don't want to leave the pool. Like we just want to hang out because the weather was gorgeous. It was so nice. So we just wanted to be at the pool every afternoon. So we ate hot dogs and chicken tenders from the pool deck most days.
The Wish has that beautiful like food fair, but there's something also to be said about the quick service options on the original 4 ships. So like obviously the Magic and the Wonder, they have that like station in the middle that always has like the carving
spoiler
station.
Bites.
And then all of the other stuff associated with it. And then they have like the more fresh food over in Daisy's Cafe. And then obviously on the Fantasy and the Dream, they have like Mater's something, and whatever those sections are. But you can get salads and you can get fruit, and then you can get your chicken tenders and French fries and all of that fun stuff too. And sandwiches. Like I like that there's all those like regular options kind of as well.
Yeah, I did like that I could get like the fruit from I forget which one is which.
But the last one. The last window is where you can get the fruit on the original or on the Dream and Fantasy. Okay, so mostly pool deck food, and good that you had good weather because honestly, January can be anything. And it's been so cold in Orlando. So like that can carry forward. So, but fortunately with this itinerary, you're far enough south mostly, but even Cozumel can be questionable.
Yeah, I mean, it was really warm every day. I think Perfect. The Jamaica day, it was really windy. We were at Satellite Falls and they kind of have that glass around it, and I felt like that kind of kept most of the wind away from us.
Before we get into the Pixar activities, what kind of activities do you and your husband enjoy doing on the ship, like on your regular sea days?
We really like bingo. We like to do the trivia when we can. they had Pixar trivia on this one, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, we like to do the trivia, the bingo, and then we'll do the shows sometimes, but like, they had Aladdin on this one, and we had just seen Aladdin on the Wish, so we didn't really do that one, but Frozen was nice. But otherwise, I mean, we like to just chill by the pool as much as we can, especially if it's warm.
Okay. Did we do any upcharge activities like the spa or anything?
Ooh, yeah. I always do the rainforest room. I love the rainforest room. I did it on the Wish, and so now I'm always gonna buy the length of stay pass. My husband doesn't really like it, but since we do the late dining, he'll typically like take a nap around like dinner time, and then I just go to the rainforest room and hang out on one of those warm beds.
I would just like to point out for the listeners that Veronica said around dinner time, because yes, dinner time is is 5:30 or 6.
It's the normal dinner time.
Instead of this ridiculousness.
Team late dining.
No. You
Yes.
don't eat late at home late. You go to bed early. I don't understand. Or you guys go in early. You eat early at home. Why do you eat late on vacation?
Team 2 dinners.
That is what my husband likes about it, is you can kind of eat like a hobbit. You get some extra meals snuck in there.
See, I don't want 2 dinners. I want 1 dinner, and I want to not be hangry at everybody, and just I want to eat my dinner, and then I'm done. I'm good for the night.
Well, Veronica and I are living our best Hobbit lives over here.
Okay, fine.
I think he's just a nap boy.
I love a good nap.
Nap.
I love a good Disney fantasy nap.
Cruise naps are primo.
They are. And that many days. And then you didn't get off the ship, so you even had more nap time. Oh my God, it's my favorite.
We were very lazy cruisers this time.
I love that. You need to be lazy cruisers.
Okay. That is what's great about cruising, though, is it's truly choose your own adventure.
And if you have like a go-go person, they can go and do all the things, and you can be lazy. It's perfect.
Yeah, that was what was nice. Like when we were on the Wish, I really wanted to be going about and doing everything, and it didn't feel weird for us to be apart certain parts of it. And I don't know why it is like that on the cruise, I guess because everything's so close together. But, I could kind of bop off and do my own thing while he was chilling.
So the point of the show is, I mean, it's really to talk about the Disney fantasy, let's be honest. But the point of the show is to talk about Pixar Day at Sea. So you just got off on Saturday, so we wanted to make sure we got this recorded. But let's talk about what there was that day to do. And that's in addition to the really cool music and the snippets on the speakers, which I wish that we could hear that. I need someone to record them, please, and share them with us. Some of the stuff that they said, or the little clips. But yeah, tell us about that day.
They had Pixar activities all day. They were showing Pixar movies on Funnel Vision and in the theaters all day. They had a lot of Learn to Draw events. So you could do Learn to Draw Panda May. They had Learn to Draw Merida. They had Learn to Draw, I think, Socks, which I think is a Buzz Lightyear related character from the new Buzz Lightyear movie. I wasn't sure who that one was. And then they had, Pixar themed trivia at the bars. I saw that there were a lot of like pool games for the kids that were related to Pixar. So I think they had like a Luca themed one. And then they also had like some Inside Out themed activities. Like I think they had an Inside Out memory game show. We didn't go to that. And then they also had like you could make a memory orb ornament, which I thought sounded like a really cute craft. And then for the kids, I saw that I saw a lot of the kids had it. They made these little like 3D Buzz Lightyear paper crafts. So that was really cute. And then they obviously had so many characters all day long. We saw Sully, Joy and Sadness were around a lot, Rex, Ratatouille, Miguel from Coco. I'm trying to think what other ones there were. Those were the big ones that we saw most. And they had Merida, yeah.
And were those in the same locations, in the same style that you would just see Mickey? Like he's in there in the app and you just show up?
Yep. Yeah. And I will say that anything that was available on Pixar Day, I think was pretty much available the whole cruise. There were Pixar characters most days. There were like the memory game. They did it multiple days. The Pixar trivia, they did it multiple days. I'm pretty sure anything you wanted to do, it was available other days of the cruise. So if you really wanted to stuff in every single activity, I feel like you could kind of spread it out, or you could get a lot of opportunities besides just Pixar Day, which I thought was nice. And I don't know if it was like that last year, but it seemed like they were trying to make things available throughout the whole cruise.
That's nice. So you guys, we're going to put this out there. I'm going to say it one time. This is the one thing nice about the app instead of the paper version. So the One Pro app, there's only one in my opinion. Besides, it'll like tell you that you have to go to something maybe. So there's two, but you can like click on an event. So this is how you could see if it's happening multiple times. If you want to do a draw so-and-so, or you want to meet a certain character, you can click on them or click on the event, right? And it'll show you, there's something you can click on again that says like more times. I know that I'm not explaining this well, but you guys will know when you're in your app, you'll remember Christy rambled on about something. Click, click, click a few times, and you can see the other times it's being offered so that you can say, okay, do I want to do this on Thursday? Or do I want to do this? It's available on Monday or Tuesday or something like that. So yeah, there you go. I've said it. The two good things about the app.
I tried to look through the activities on the actual Pixar Day at Sea to see if there was anything that I saw that wasn't available the other days. And I would say that the only thing was the deck party that was specific to that day. But really everything else, it seemed to me like it was something you could do most days of the cruise.
So wait, was there 2 deck parties?
Yeah. And so I saw people talking about that on the Facebook group, because I guess what they did the last time was they had like a deck party, and then they had the Incredibles thing with the fireworks, and that was all in the same day. But what they did on our cruise was the Incredibles party with the fireworks was earlier in the cruise. I want to say it was the first sea day. The day with the deck party where it was like all the Pixar pals, that was actually at night on Pixar Day. I'm probably not explaining this very well, but they separated out the two. Yeah. And then we also still had Pirate Night, and we had fireworks that night. And the Pixar Pals deck party was really cute. Like they brought out all of the characters that were kind of available on the ship, and the music was kind of themed. Like one thing I thought was funny was like joy and sadness. Like they let Sadness pick the music, and she picked like the song about like, it's my party and I can cry if I want to. And then Joy wanted to like, hijack it. Like I thought that was really cute.
I love that. What was your like highlight from Pixar Day at Sea?
Ooh, probably the dinner. Because they had a special Pixar dinner menu, and that was really, really good. And the waiters were all so excited about it. We were just ordering, and they were like, no, we're bringing you more. You have to try this. You have to try that. I think like we ended up ordering all of the appetizers, and they were all themed to different movies. Like, they had some Ratatouille stuff. They had some stuff from Up. Yeah, they had steamed bao buns on the appetizers. That was so good. Yeah.
I love a steamed bao bun.
Who doesn't, right? Yeah, they had the Korean barbecue steamed bao buns. Those were so good. They had a baked shrimp mac and cheese. That was really good. And then under the entrees,
they did bring it on that menu.
Yeah, this is sounding pretty fire from the 2 items we've talked about already.
Under the entrees, the 2 that our waiter said he really loved were the butter chicken and the pork tenderloin and braised pork belly. It was like an adobo pork tenderloin with like fried onion topping. And like my husband was stuck between the 2, and the waiter was like, no, we're bringing all of it. We want you to try as many dishes as you can. Like they were really like cool about it. I thought it was sweet that they were like trying to make sure we tried everything. They were like, this is a special menu. We only do it once a year. So yeah, it was really good. I think I got the linguine pasta, and that was also great. And then they had like a special dessert menu, and that also had Pixar items. And one of them was like cheesecake that looked like the Pixar ball, the yellow and blue one.
Oh my God, star. Yes.
It was so cute. And my husband really liked it. And it was funny because the waiter was like, it's a very good looking ball, but I'm not sure if you're going to like how it tastes. So I'm going to bring you some churros too, because they had like churros for Coco. And then I had like a chocolate hazelnut thing that was like Ratatouille themed, and it was like a jelly type consistency. Like I think they called it like pot de creme. but that was really good. Everything was great. I mean, I think that might have been my favorite dinner menu if I'm thinking about it, because there were so many fun things on that one.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
like my
unique,
favorite dinner menu.
right?
And they played Pixar music throughout that whole dinner, so that was really fun. And all the servers had like the Pixar ball ties. That was really cute.
Oh, that's fun.
I thought Cove Cafe would have Pixar themed desserts, but they didn't. So it was just the regular stuff.
Did the adult section do anything for Pixar?
No, not really. They were pumping the Pixar music in there because like the other days it had been like just more of like chill music, but they were doing the Pixar music up there. And then Cove Cafe, the only thing that they did have that I noticed was the Rice Krispie treats had Pixar printed on them, but that was about it.
Very random. Like, oh, this is going to make them seem like this is a themed cruise. No, it's Pixar.
The drinks of the day were also Pixar themed.
Did they have a sipper? Like, did you
They
notice
had
them?
sippers at dinner. They had two different drinks that could come in a sipper. They had one that was like cocoa in a sipper. And then I think the other one might have been up. They didn't have sippers, I think, for the drink of the day, just for the special drinks at dinner. They did have like a ton of Pixar merch in the stores as well. And it looked like they added more merch on Pixar Day. So there was Pixar stuff, like Pixar Day at Sea merch the whole time. Like you could get shirts and pins and ornaments that said Pixar Day at Sea. And a lot of people bought those and then they were wearing it on Pixar Day. But then I also noticed that Pixar Day itself, they brought out more stuff than they had. So I would like check the store again on Pixar Day if you're looking for special stuff. Like they had these Vera Bradley purses that had Toy Story like hidden in there, and it was kind of cute. I hadn't seen anything like that. So I would definitely check the stores again.
A good little tip.
Yeah, that's cool. Typically, we hear the opposite when we talk about merch for special cruises. I'm happy to hear that, at least for the Pixar Day at Sea, it seems to be a little bit better.
Yeah. And I didn't see really any of it sell out. You know, like it didn't seem like any of the stuff that was available the first night was sold out, you know, by the end, because I know that can happen too. And then they also had like different picture backdrops that were Pixar themes that you could do with the families. I think they had Inside Out. They had, what's the new one? Elemental. Yeah. And then I think they also had like a Luca background, if I'm remembering correctly.
Do you guys get the picture package? Do you pay for?
Not usually, no.
Okay. Always curious what people do for that.
Just a few quick questions here. First off, did you have any like notable cast interactions that you wanted to call out?
I mean, I really loved our server Keegan. He was just so great. Like he noticed that like I don't like a ton of meat, so like he was trying to point out like things that were like, you know, by the end he would be like, I think you would like this, or I think you'd like that. You know, he was really good about like getting us to try new things. Like, this was kind of cool. The last night I was looking at the desserts and they had the chocolate decadence, and that doesn't have like a description of what it actually is. So I asked him what it was, and I was like, oh, that sounds okay. I'll get that. And he was like, I don't think you're crazy about that. And he was like, do you want a lava cake? I think you would like a lava cake. And I was like, it's not on the menu. He's like, that's fine. I'm going to get you a lava cake because I don't know if you even got the lava cake the other night. And he just brought me a lava cake and the chocolate decadence. So I don't know. I just thought it was nice. He was like trying really hard to make sure we were liking everything.
Which one do you like better?
Ooh, the lava cake, definitely.
So he was right. He knew which one you'd like better.
He was right.
I love that.
The servers almost always know.
Were you seated with other people?
No, that was cool. So we requested the private dining. We actually did get it, I think, because it was a less full cruise, and we did that's another reason why we do the later, is because we're kind of hoping it might get us the private table. So it was kind of nice to be just the two of us.
Very cool. So just one more question about Pixar Day at Sea then. Did you feel like this experience brought enough to make you potentially want to do it again, or would you rather kind of move on and try something new or something different?
I don't know that I would necessarily feel the need to do it again. I feel like I feel bad saying that though, because I didn't book it because it was Pixar, right? Like, you know, maybe if I was really into the characters, you know, and I really wanted to get those special character ops, then it would be worth it to me. But I don't know that I felt like it was so amazing that I want to do it every year. You know, I would love to see like other themed events. Like I know they do the Marvel, and it would be cool to see like Star Wars or something like that.
R.I.P. Star Wars.
I was just going to say, I know a lot of people were saying like they want a villains cruise, which that does sound pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
A villain's day at sea. People would actually appreciate that.
All right. So the last question I have for you is, what's next then? Did we book a placeholder or go ahead and just book an entire cruise?
Yeah, we have a lot booked. I think we went a little crazy. So we did do the placeholder on this cruise. We have a Wish Concierge trip booked for May, and then we're doing that Lighthouse Fantasy cruise. That's also like a maritime cruise in November. So I think that's what we have booked. And then Chrissy, we also booked the Treasure with you. So we have quite a few booked.
I like it.
Love it all. That all sounds super fantastic. And we hope that you'll come back on to talk about some of those experiences in the future as well.
Yeah, if you'll have me, definitely.
Absolutely.
Oh, I just want to plug Christy because we did use you to book our treasure cruise, and we're going to book you, or use you for all of our, next cruise bookings. So you've been so helpful. And so I think everybody should use you.
Oh, thank you.
Christy, where can our listeners reach out if they want to book a cruise with you?
I am at Christy@packyourpixiedust.com is my email, which should be in the show notes. And then also you can just go to packyourpixiedust.com and find my website, which has a contact me section or an about with my contact information. So you can find me everywhere at Pack Your Pixie Dust. Blake, where can people find you?
As always, you can find me over on Katie and I's channel, MouseGen, on YouTube and Instagram. It's just MouseGen on YouTube and mouse.gen on Instagram, where we do lots of running and cruise vlogging and all sorts of fun little things in between. And you can find me here on the DCL podcast.
Yay.
Well, Veronica, I think that is going to do it for this show. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience from your 7-night fantasy Pixar Day at Sea cruise.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
All right, well, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show. Once again, we want to thank Veronica for coming on and sharing her experience on the 7-night fantasy Pixar Day at Sea cruise. If you're enjoying the show, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We would also like to thank our patrons who make this show happen each and every week for us. You too can help support the show by joining our community by visiting patreon.com/DCO podcast. Whether you are boarding a cruise, enjoying a trip to the parks, or adventuring outside of Disney, on behalf of myself, Steve, Christy, and Nova, we want to wish you smooth sailing and safe travels, and we'll see you next time on the DCO podcast.
The DCL podcast is unaffiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.